been waiting for a sign, waiting for the right moment, waiting for everything to feel perfect before you move. But listen, God is not the one delaying you. The door is already open, the path is already clear. But you're still standing still. You keep asking, God, when will my breakthrough come? And God is asking, when will you step into what I already gave you? Because the truth is, you're not waiting on God. God is waiting on you. The excuse of waiting. Some of us hide behind waiting because it's easier than acting. You say, I'm waiting for confirmation, but God already spoke. You say, I need more time, but you've already had enough. You say, I'm not ready. But God doesn't call the ready. He prepares the called. Faith without works is dead. That means if you're praying for a breakthrough, but refusing to move, then your faith is not alive. And faith that isn't alive doesn't bring results. What are you afraid of? Let's be honest. The reason you haven't moved forward yet is not because God hasn't given you an answer. It's because fear has you paralyzed. Fear of failing. Fear of looking foolish. Fear of stepping into something new. And the enemy? He loves this. Because as long as you stay afraid, you stay stuck. That means the fear you feel didn't come from God. So if it's not from God, why are you letting it control you? Stop waiting for perfect conditions. Some of you keep saying, I'll start when the time is right. But the time will never be perfect. If you're waiting for everything to make sense, for all the pieces to fall into place, for everything to be comfortable, you will wait your whole life because faith moves first. Then God provides. That means if you wait for perfect conditions, you'll never start. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll never grow. If you wait until there's no risk, you'll never see results. God is not looking for perfect people. He is looking for people who trust Him enough to take the first step. God already made the way, walk in it. You've been asking God, what should I do? And He's been saying, I already told you, the door is already open, the way is already made, the opportunity is already there. But if you don't walk through it, nothing changes. You don't wait for the miracle. You move first, then God moves with you. This is your moment. Move now. No more excuses. No more waiting. No more holding yourself back. If you've been praying for a sign, this is it. God already made the way. Now it's your turn to take the step. The right time is now. You've been waiting, but waiting time is over. Now it's time to move. You don't need another confirmation. You don't need another sign. You don't need more time to think about it. God already answered. Now you need to act. Decide right now to move. Most people stay stuck because they never make a real decision. They say, I want change, but they don't commit to it. They say, I want to grow, but they keep doing the same things. A double-minded person is unstable in all they do. For TT, God is waiting for you to make a choice. Not tomorrow, not next week, right now. Decide that you will stop waiting for perfect conditions, that you will move even if you're afraid, that you will trust God even when it doesn't make sense, because if you never decide, you will never move. Get rid of excuses. Excuses are the enemies of action. I don't have enough money. I'm not qualified. I don't feel ready. Do you think Moses felt ready when God called him? Do you think David felt strong enough to fight Goliath? No, but they moved anyway. That means you don't need more money. God is your provider. You don't need to be qualified. God will equip you. You don't need to feel ready. God is already with you. Kill the excuses, act anyway. Take the first step, even if it's small. You don't have to see the whole staircase. You just have to take the first step. But here's the secret. God doesn't guide a person who isn't moving. You've been praying for direction, but you haven't moved an inch. How can God direct your steps if you won't even take one? So right now, decide on one small action to take today. Make the call, apply for the opportunity, write the first page, say yes to what God told you to do, because small steps lead to big shifts. Trust God and go all in. This is the moment. No more hesitation, no more delays, no more waiting. If God called you to it, He will provide for it. If He opened the door, walk through it. The enemy wants you to stay stuck. God is calling you forward. Which one will you listen to? Decide to act now. Destroy every excuse. Take the first step, even if it's small, if you trust that God will provide as you move. Comment below, "I am taking action." Like this video if you're ready to move, and subscribe now because your next step might be hidden in the next message. God already answered. Now act. You're praying for change. You're asking God for direction. You're waiting for a breakthrough. But deep down, something is holding you back. You feel stuck. You feel hesitant. You feel afraid. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. Because if fear can keep you from moving forward, it can keep you from everything God has for you. Fear is a trap. Fear is not just an emotion, it's a poison weapon. The enemy uses fear to make you doubt yourself, keep you stuck in bad situations, convince you that you'll fail before you even try. And once you believe those lies, you stop moving forward. A snare is a trap, something that keeps you stuck. And as long as you let fear control your choices, you'll stay exactly where you are. Fear is a lie. Fear tells you you're not ready. You're not strong enough. You'll fail if you try. But listen, fear is a liar. If fear isn't from God, then who do you think it's from? The enemy wants you to believe you're not good enough. Because if you believe that lie, you'll never step into what God has already prepared for you. Fear makes you hesitate when you should be moving. Fear doesn't just stop you, it slows you down. It makes you overthink. It makes you question God's plan. It makes you wait for a mouse. When you should be on taking action. You move first. Then you see God's hand. You can step out. Then you see the miracle. You can trust Him. Then the breakthrough happens. Fear makes you settle for less than God's best. Some of you are staying in situations that you sure know aren't right for you. Why? Because fear has convinced you. This is the best I'll ever get. If I walk away, I'll regret it. What if I never find better? So, instead of trusting God, you settle. Instead of stepping into His plan, you hold on to what's familiar. God who is with you. You won't fall, you won't fail, but you have to trust Him enough to let go. Faith and fear cannot live together. Every choice you make is either based on a fear or in faith. Faith says, God, I don't see the whole picture, but I trust you. Fear says, I need proof before I take the first step. Faith says, even if I don't feel ready, I know God has prepared me. Fear says, what if I fail? But listen, even if you do fail, God will catch you, teach you, and grow you. Fear keeps you stuck. Faith moves you forward. This is your moment to break free. You've let fear control your decisions for too long. You've stayed stuck when you should have moved. You've settled when you should have stepped out in faith. But today, that ends. It's time to choose faith over fear. It's time to trust that God already made a way. And it's time to finally, because if you stop here, you might miss the exact word that was meant to shift your future. Faith is not just believing, it's moving. You can pray for a breakthrough, but if you're not willing to step into what God is calling you to do, you'll stay exactly where you are. But every single one of them had to act. Faith demands obedience. Obedience is the hardest part of faith, because God will ask you to do things that don't make sense. He will tell you to forgive when you want revenge. He will tell you to give when you barely have enough. He will tell you to step out when you feel unqualified. And that's where many people stop. They want the blessing, but they don't want the obedience. They want the reward, but they don't want the risk. But listen, God will never bless where there is disobedience. You can't pray for a miracle while ignoring what God already told you to do. If you want to see God move, you have to move first. Stop praying for what God already told you to do. Some of you are waiting for confirmation when God already gave you instruction. You're asking for another sign. You're waiting for another word. But the truth is, you already know what God told you. You're just afraid to do it. Some of you need to stop praying and start moving, because faith is not just about waiting, it's about walking. God blesses action, not excuses. Excuses keep you stuck. I don't have enough money. I'm not ready yet. What if I fail? But when God calls, He doesn't wait for you to feel ready. He just says, go. And when you go, He provides. Your faith will be tested. Obedience is not easy. God will test your faith before He blesses it. He will ask you to trust Him when it feels risky, to step forward when the road is unclear, to believe when nothing is changing. That's the moment that defines you. Will you trust Him or will you hesitate? Because delayed obedience is disobedience. And every time you delay your blessing. Move now, because faith can't wait. This is your moment. No more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more praying for signs when God already spoke. Move, because your miracle is waiting on the other side of your obedience. If you believe this message is for you, subscribe right now, because God is speaking, and if you don't stay connected, you might miss exactly what He's trying to tell you. Don't risk it. Subscribe now. You prayed, you believed, you waited, but nothing changed. Now, you feel stuck, like God is silent, like your life is frozen in place. But listen, delay is not denial. Just because it hasn't happened yet doesn't mean it won't. God's timing is perfect, but His process, it's not always comfortable. So why does it feel like you're stuck? Let me tell you, sometimes God is still preparing you. You're asking for a blessing, but are you ready for it? God won't give you something that will crush you. He loves you too much for that. You want the promotion, but have you built the character to handle it? You want the relationship, but have you healed from your past wounds? You want the platform, but have you developed the discipline? Before God takes you higher, He strengthens your foundation. Because He's not just giving you a blessing, He's giving you the ability to sustain it. God is removing what can't go with you. Some things and some people can't go where God is taking you, so He allows delays to separate you from what will slow you down. You may not understand now, but later you'll look back and see that God was protecting you. So if doors closed, if people left, if situations changed, trust that God is making room for something better. Your next level requires your next step. You say you're waiting on God, but could it be that God is waiting on you? Some blessings are waiting on your obedience. Faith is not just believing. Faith is moving when God says move. No more sitting in fear. No more waiting for the perfect conditions. If God already told you what to do, why haven't you done it? The breakthrough is in your obedience. So take the step, because when you move, that's when things change. So trust Him, keep believing, and when He says move, move. Because what's coming is greater than what's been. If you believe this message is for you, subscribe right now. Because God is speaking, and if you don't stay connected, you might miss exactly what He's trying to tell you. Don't risk it. Subscribe now. You've been praying for change, asking God to open doors, waiting for a sign that it's time to move forward. And now, the door is open. But instead of stepping through, you hesitate. You let fear whisper, "What if I'm not ready?" You let doubt ask, "What if this isn't the right path?" You let comfort say, "Maybe I should stay where it's safe." And suddenly the open door becomes just another missed opportunity. Listen to me. God wouldn't open the door if He didn't want you to walk through it. Stop second-guessing what you prayed for. It's time to move. God opens doors you don't have to force. When God is leading you into a new season, you won't have to force anything. You won't have to manipulate situations. You won't have to beg people to support you. Because when God opens a door, no one can shut it. And when He closes a door, no amount of striving will reopen it. So stop trying to walk through doors that no longer serve your purpose. Stop knocking on opportunities that God has already shut. If the door is open, walk through it. If it's closed, trust that God has something better ahead. Fear will try to hold you back. Every time God brings you into a new season, fear will try to stop you. Fear of failure, fear of stepping into the unknown, fear of leaving behind what's familiar. But fear is not from God. He has not given you a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. That means you don't need to wait until you feel ready. Because faith isn't about feelings. It's about trusting that if God brought you to this door, He will bring you through it. So don't let fear make you miss what God has for you. Step forward, even if your knees are shaking. Obedience activates blessings. God doesn't bless hesitation. He blesses obedience. When Peter stepped out of the boat, he didn't know if he could walk on water. But he moved anyway. And the moment his foot hit the waves, the impossible became possible. That's what happens when you act in faith. Your next level is on the other side of obedience. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. The moment is now. God already gave you the opportunity. Now it's your job to walk through it. Not everyone can go with you. When you step into your next season, some people won't understand. Some will try to hold you back. Some will tell you to wait. Some will make you question if you're making the right choice. But remember this: elevation requires separation. Not everyone is meant to go where God is taking you. Don't let loyalty to the past keep you from walking into your future. If God called you forward, then forward is the only direction you should go. Your faith must be bigger than your comfort. Walking through open doors means leaving behind what is comfortable. You have to move before you see the full picture. That's what faith is, and that's what God is asking of you now. So don't let comfort keep you stuck. Don't let fear make you forfeit your blessing. The door is open. The opportunity is here. Now, walk boldly into your next season. There's a difference between waiting on God and avoiding what He told you to do. Some of you are saying, "I'm waiting on God," but the truth is, God is waiting on you. He already gave the instruction. He already confirmed the vision. But instead of moving, you're hesitating, you're second-guessing, you're asking for another sign when God already spoke. Fear has disguised itself as patience, and doubt has disguised itself as wisdom. But delayed obedience is still disobedience. Breakthrough doesn't happen by standing still. Walls don't fall unless you march. Seas don't part unless you step in. Miracles don't come unless you move. The woman with the issue of blood didn't sit and wait for Jesus to come to her. She pushed through the crowd. She reached for him. She acted in faith, and she was healed. Faith is not passive. Faith is movement. You can't pray for open doors and refuse to walk through them. You can't ask for change and stay in the same place. The moment you move, heaven responds, and what you've been waiting for starts moving towards you. This is your moment. No more excuses. No more waiting for the perfect time. No more asking for confirmation when God already confirmed it. The enemy wants to keep you stuck because he knows the moment you step into your calling, you become unstoppable. You weren't created to live in hesitation. You were created to walk in boldness. So stop holding back. Take the step. Move forward in faith. Something happens in the spiritual realm when you take action. Movement activates miracles, and right now, heaven is waiting for your next step. What has God told you to do? What instruction have you been putting off? What dream have you been afraid to pursue? Everything changes when you move. Provision shows up when you step out. Doors open when you knock. Breakthrough happens when you push forward. Faith is not about seeing the whole picture. Faith is taking the first step even when you don't see the full staircase. So don't wait anymore. Get up, move, and watch what God does next. Some of you have been praying for a miracle, but refusing to move. You want God to bless your finances, but you won't apply for that job. You want a new opportunity, but you're too afraid to step out. You want healing, but you won't speak life over yourself. Faith is not passive. Faith requires action. That means you can't just pray. You have to move, not because God needs your help. The enemy knows that if you move, you'll step into your calling, so he sends doubt. He whispers lies like, what if you fail? What if it doesn't work? What if you're not good enough? But let me tell you something, fear is a liar. If fear isn't from God, then who do you think it's from? The enemy wants you to believe you're not good enough. Because if you believe that lie, you'll never step into what God has already prepared for you. Fear makes you hesitate when you should be moving. Fear doesn't just stop you, it slows you down. It makes you overthink. It makes you question God's plan. It makes you wait for see. Then, when you should be taking action. You move first. Then you see God's hand. You step out. Then you see the miracle. You trust Him. Then the breakthrough happens. Fear makes you settle for less than God's best. Some of you are staying in situations that you know aren't right for you. Why? Because fear has convinced you. This is the best I'll ever get. If I walk away, I'll regret it. What if I never find better? So instead of untrusting God, you settle. Instead of stepping into His plan, you hold on to what's familiar. God is with you. You won't fall. You won't fail. But you have to trust Him enough to let go. Faith and fear cannot live together. Every choice you make is either based on fear or a faith. Faith says, God, I don't see the whole picture, but I trust you. Fear says, I need proof before I take the first step. Faith says, even if I don't feel ready, I know God has prepared me. Fear says, what if I fail? But listen, even if you do fail, God will catch you, teach you, and grow you. Fear keeps you stuck. Faith moves you forward. This is your moment to break free. You've let fear control your decisions for too long. You've stayed stuck when you should have moved. You've settled when you should have stepped out in faith. But today, that ends. It's time to choose. faith over fear. It's time to trust that God already made a way. And it's time to finally, because if you stop here, you might miss the exact word that was meant to shift your future. Faith is not just believing, it's moving. You can pray for a breakthrough, but if you're not willing to step into what God is calling you to do, you'll stay exactly where you are. But every single one of them had to act. Faith demands obedience. Obedience is the hardest part of faith, because God will ask you to do things that don't make sense. He will tell you to forgive when you want revenge. He will tell you to give when you barely have enough. He will tell you to step out when you feel unqualified. And that's where many people stop. God does not give the spirit of fear. He gives power, and He's already equipped you with everything you need. So don't let fear stop what God has started in you. God will not show you until you take step one. So what is He asking you to do? Where is He calling you to go? What opportunity is He asking you to step into? The moment you move, you will see His hand like never before. Delay is not denial, but it can be disobedience. Some of you are delaying your own blessings. God gave the instruction, but you're waiting for the right time. You're waiting for more signs, more confirmation, more security. But delayed obedience is still disobedience. You don't have to understand everything to obey. You just have to trust the one who gave the instruction. God is not asking for perfection. He's asking for faith, and faith looks like movement. Think about this. What if the breakthrough you've been praying for is waiting on you? What if the miracle is tied to your next move? What if the opportunity is already there, but it's waiting for you to show up? You can't just sit back and hope. You have to act. Because obedience unlocks blessings. Obedience releases favor. Obedience puts you in position for everything God has for you. You've been praying. Now it's time to move. This is your moment. No more excuses. No more waiting for things to feel perfect. No more sitting in fear when God has called you to move in faith. You are ready. You are chosen. And what's waiting on the other side of your obedience is greater than anything you could ever imagine. So step out, move forward, because when you move, everything changes. Amen.